Hi, we're glad that you're interested in renting our Little Guy Mini-Max trailer, and we hope you enjoy it as much as we do. I'm going to share some helpful information that'll help make your adventure go smoothly. If anything comes up during your journey, or if you just have a question, please don't hesitate to text or call us. Starting here at the Hitch, make sure your tow vehicle can tow at least 3,500 pounds and that it's equipped with a 2-inch trailer hitch ball. The trailer weighs just over 2,300 pounds empty, but after adding 20 gallons of water and all your cargo, the weight starts to add up pretty quickly. But you should be fine towing with at least a mid-size SUV or truck. This trailer has brakes, which are required to be used, so you will need a brake controller. When hitching the trailer to your tow vehicle, first, remove the hitch lock and make sure that all of the stabilizer jacks are up. Crank the tongue of the trailer jack until the trailer coupler is high enough to clear the trailer ball on the tow vehicle. Carefully back the tow vehicle up to the trailer until the ball is directly under the trailer coupler. It helps to have someone standing near the hitch to help guide you through this step. Set the parking brakes on your tow vehicle. Raise the locking latch on the coupler, and then crank the jack down to lower the trailer onto the ball. Move the locking latch down to lock it onto the ball and secure it with the coupler lock. It's a good idea to raise the trailer up, watching it slightly lift the rear bumper of the tow vehicle, just to make sure the coupler is locked onto the ball. Connect the 7-way power cord to your tow vehicle and connect the breakaway switch, which will activate the trailer brakes in the event the trailer becomes disconnected from the tow vehicle. Attach the safety chains to the tow vehicle, crossing the chains under the trailer tongue with the hook openings facing up. Now crank the trailer jack all the way up and ensure all hoses, cords, leveling blocks, accessories, and chocks are removed and stowed. Then make sure that all trailer windows, vents, and doors are closed and secured, and that the entry step has been returned to the travel position before you take off. Check that the lights and trailer brakes are functioning and consult the manufacturer of your brake controller if necessary for instructions on how to set up and calibrate the brake controller unit in your tow vehicle. The height of the trailer is just over 9 feet, so you're going to want to avoid parking garages, drive-thrus, and be aware of hitting trees. Okay, you ready to hit the road? Just remember, wide turns. This trailer has a wireless rear camera that you can use to see behind the trailer from inside your tow vehicle. To use the rear camera, simply plug the monitor into a DC power plug in your vehicle and use the suction cup mount on your windshield. The monitor will automatically start receiving a wireless signal from the rear camera. In order for the camera to get power, the headlights in the tow vehicle must be turned on, and not just in the auto setting. Once you arrive at your site and you've backed the trailer into your spot, set the parking brakes on your tow vehicle, then chock the trailer wheels using the 4 chocks provided. This trailer does include a wheel leveling kit that allows you to level the trailer laterally, or side to side, from a 1/2 inch up to 4 inches, should you find yourself on a site that isn't level. If you use the leveling kit, you'll need to stay connected to the tow vehicle in order to back the trailer wheels onto the levelers. Place the provided 2-way bubble level on the A-frame trailer coupler before you disconnect the trailer from the tow vehicle to determine if you'll need to level side to side. You'll be able to level front to back by simply using the trailer jack. Disconnect the 7-way power cord, breakaway switch, and safety chains. Raise the locking latch, then place a leveling block underneath the trailer jack to prevent it from sinking into soft ground and to provide a stable surface for the jack. Lower the trailer jack until the trailer coupler raises up and safely clears the ball. Once you've ensured that everything is disconnected from the tow vehicle, slowly pull your tow vehicle away from the trailer. Use the 2-way bubble level on the A-frame of the trailer coupler to level front to back by adjusting the trailer jack. And finally, attach the hitch lock to the trailer to discourage theft. Once level, lower the stabilizer jacks using the supplied crank tool, placing a leveling block underneath each jack foot. It's important to use a block under each jackfoot to prevent the feet from sinking into the ground or sliding. Lower the stabilizer jacks until it just starts to get tight against the trailer frame. It's important to know that the stabilizer jacks are not meant for leveling the trailer, but are for providing additional stability to prevent any swaying or rocking movement. If you use the stabilizer jacks to try to lift part of the trailer to level it, you risk damaging the trailer frame and the jacks. Alright, let's take a look at the exterior real quick. Right here you have the furnace. This gets pretty hot, so make sure to not touch that when it's on, and also make sure any camp chairs don't get too close to that while it's on. Right here is a storage compartment with a light inside of here. In here is where we keep the wheel chocks, the leveling pads, a hose, a toolkit, and the wheel levelers back there. Around back is a hitch that will enable you to hook up a bike carrier. Underneath is the spare tire, the rear wireless camera. Around here you have the exterior shower hose, which lets you, hose off the feet, hose off the dog before getting into the trailer, or just for whatever you want. You'll need to make sure that the water pump is on before using that. This is the water heater. You shouldn't need to mess with that. If you have any questions about it, let us know. This is the water fill-up compartment. The only way you can open it is with this key. And this is where you would insert the water hose that's included to fill up the fresh water. This other connection on the right is what you would use to hook up city water. If you were at a site that had water and could give you the pressure that you need, that would avoid having to turn on the water pump. Use the included water hose to fill your fresh water tank, connecting the hose to the bottom of the water filter, and then connecting the top end of the filter with the pressure regulator valve to your fresh water source. This is the power connection here. Make sure you plug this in only to a 30 amp RV outlet or a generator with a 30 amp connection. We do offer a 30 amp to household 15 or 20 amp adapter that you can use to power the trailer. Just don't run the AC or microwave off of this circuit, as it doesn't supply enough amps and could cause damage. Down here is the sewer and gray water drain area that allows you to empty the black water from the toilet as well as the gray water that drains from the sink and the shower. Over here is where the sewer hose is kept, and you just turn this little notch here, open her up, and pull out the sewer hose. This is a little cap that you can remove, and then I recommend attaching this little 90-degree elbow, which allows you to attach this to the hose, and then this goes down into the sewer dump, and then you attach it over here to the main outlet. And I recommend draining the black tank first, and once that is all emptied, close it and then open up the gray tank so that the gray water will flush out all the black debris. So it's pretty straightforward. You can take it to any RV dump, any sewer dump, and it's usually about $5 to empty the tanks. Here at the front of the trailer is the liquid propane tank, as well as the battery. To turn on liquid propane, simply turn this to the left to open, and when you're done, go ahead and turn it to the right to close it. The propane powers the refrigerator. It also powers the water heater as well as the furnace. And then down here is the battery, which you shouldn't need to open, but just in case of an emergency, there is a battery disconnect that you can turn to disable the battery. But for the most part, you're going to want to leave that on. Here at the front door is a screen that you can simply pull to close. That way you can get some ventilation while keeping the bugs out. There are 2 switches that control the lights on the front porch. One is just to light that one, and then this one lights up the handle as well as a step light down here. And then up here to the left is the systems monitor and a couple of switches up here. And by just touching this first panel here, it will show you the amount of fresh water and gray water. Fresh is the source of, your drinking water in your shower and you're flushing the toilet. And then the gray water is everything that comes out of the sink and the shower. Then you tap it again and it'll show you the charge on your battery. The first thing you'll want to note is the lights right here. When you press that, the main cabin lights come on. These 2 switches control the water heater. You can power the water heater using liquid propane gas or electricity. And most of the time you're going to want to leave this on liquid propane gas. So go ahead and flip that on. And if there is a problem, or if the propane tank is turned off, this button will light up, DSI fault, and that'll just indicate that you have a problem with the liquid propane. And of course, if you're connected to electricity, you can turn that on as well and run it through the electric heater. The water pump is what supplies water pressure if you are not connected to a city water connection. So go ahead and turn that on, and you'll hear the water pump just increase the pressure, and that's what gives you pressure to all your faucets and toilet and everything. Make sure all the switches are turned off before you take off. Underneath here is a storage area. This is where we keep random manuals, the remote for the TV, and this is the receiver for the wireless rear camera, which you can attach in your tow vehicle and suction cup to your windshield. That way you can see what's behind you. There's also a broom in here. Feel free to use this space, this storage area, as much as you'd like. Okay, over here is the kitchen, and underneath here we have all sorts of dishes and everything you should need to prepare meals. And we also have utensils. And right in here is where we keep this 2-way level. So, when you're parked and you want to make sure the trailer's level, use that. Right up here is the gas range, and by simply lifting this glass panel here, you have access to 2 burners. And to start it, it's pretty easy. You just hold down the light button and then turn the gas on, and you've got heat. I would recommend opening the window here just to make sure you minimize any potential carbon monoxide poisoning. Right above the door is the vent fan, and this is really nice because you can just get a nice airflow going through here. So what happens is you just raise up the cover and then go ahead and just turn it on to whatever speed you want. There's 3 levels, and when you have the windows open in here, it'll draw a breeze and it'll kind of ventilate, when you're cooking as well. Make sure the surface of the stove is cool before closing this glass, because it might crack. And so to close this glass panel, you just gently lift up and then pull it down. And when it's cool, you've got some counter space here. This is the sink. It's also got a little counter space area if you don't want to use the sink, but go ahead and pull this panel off, and I just always set it like right here. And you have an 8-inch deep sink here and a removable nozzle here with a sprayer. And underneath here we have dish soap, hand soap, air freshener, and a little dish scrubber here. Below that is a microwave. Now you're only going to want to use the microwave if you are plugged into a 30 amp circuit, meaning that you have a generator with a 30 amp plug, or you're plugged into a site that has 30 amp service. Just some miscellaneous odds and ends under here. Okay, and then let's just take a look in the bathroom. So this is a wet bath, and it has a toilet and a shower. So here's the toilet. How you use the toilet is basically you press this foot pedal down to empty it, and that sends some water through. And then it should fill up, but if you need more water, you just basically press up on that foot panel and it'll fill the tank. And then over here you have the toilet paper cover, and that's so that the toilet paper doesn't get wet. And then over here is the shower nozzle. You can press this little button here to raise and lower this if you need to. It's a little soap tray, and then your hot and cold water for showering. And it's actually pretty comfortable. It's pretty nice once you let that water get hot. Okay, the light for the bathroom is controlled by this switch up here. Same with the kitchen. It's an independent light that you just control from right there. Okay, so turning from the kitchen over next to the bathroom is the refrigerator. And this fridge is pretty large. You've got the main compartment here and a pull-out compartment down here. This is not a freezer. This is like part of the fridge. Up here is the freezer. While you're not using this, just to sort of air it out, always turn this little guy right here out. And what that does is it lets it latch, but not all the way. See, there's a little gap right there. And that way the fridge can breathe and it just doesn't get all stinky in there. The refrigerator can operate on 3 different power sources, including AC power, DC power, or battery, or propane. So to turn on the fridge, press and hold the power button for about a second until the display lights up. This display will time out after about 10 seconds, and pressing the power button again briefly will turn the touch display back on. So this first button here allows you to select the different power modes. AC, DC, which is blinking because it's disconnected, and propane. It also allows you to select auto mode, which automatically chooses between AC, DC, or battery, and propane. The second button lets you select the cooling level. And this third button lets you turn on or off the anti-condensation heater, which you should just leave on all the time. So basically leave it so there's no symbol showing. Because this fridge uses battery very quickly, only use DC power when you're connected to your tow vehicle and you're driving. Otherwise, the battery will be completely depleted within a couple of hours. So there's this battery cutoff switch near the floor to the left of the fridge. And what that does is when it's set to off, it will not allow the fridge to use any DC power from the battery to prevent accidental battery discharge. So only turn that on when you're driving and connected to the tow vehicle. It's recommended to use AC power when you're plugged in to shore power at home or at a campsite with a power hookup. So that's AC power. And we recommend using the battery while you're driving and hooked up to your tow vehicle, because the vehicle's alternator is going to keep that charge going while you're driving. And then finally, use propane when you're boondocking or when you're at a campsite that doesn't have any power hookups. It's very efficient and it'll keep the fridge nice and cool. Also, it's important to make sure that the trailer is level while you're operating the refrigerator for best performance and to avoid any damage to the unit. So before loading the refrigerator with food, I always turn the fridge on, like at home. I'll set it to AC power since it's plugged in here at home. And I'll let this go for a few hours, typically the night before. And then when it's time to leave, we'll turn the setting down to like 2 or 3, and then we'll switch it to battery power. And remember, you have to switch this fridge battery cutoff switch to on, and then the fridge will start to consume battery. Again, only do that if the trailer is connected to the tow vehicle and you're driving. And then once you get to the campsite, switch it from battery to propane, and then come back here and switch the battery cutoff switch to off, just to prevent any accidental discharge, because it will drain the battery. To turn the fridge off, you simply press and hold the power button for about 2 seconds, and then it'll shut off. All right, so underneath the fridge is a little storage compartment that has towels and some toilet paper. And then over here is another storage area. It's not very big, but you can put whatever you can fit in there. Over here is the DVD player, CD player, radio, and sort of the amplifier and main controls for the sound system, as well as the TV that is mounted over here. So you pull this little cord down like this and it comes out, and you can watch a DVD on it. You can just plug in any HDMI on the rear. So if you want to bring your own device, like a Roku stick or Apple TV or whatever, you can plug any content into that. This is just a storage area where you could put your food and other supplies. We've got some basic spices, cleaning supplies, first aid kit, and some extras there. And then this is the main dinette area. This table here is adjustable. It is called a Lagun table, and you can push it out of the way, you can rotate it. All right, let me show you the windows really quick. You have the option of full screen or full blackout for privacy. And to separate the two, this little clip, you just pull that little tab and you can remove either the screen or the cover. And to open the windows, these 4 latches, just release those catches, and then there's a rod with a little tightener right here on each side, so that'll let you open the window. And then I recommend keeping the screen closed to keep the bugs out. But the nice thing is, if you just want to crack it and get some air, there's a little setting, a little middle notch here that you can set all these catches on, and it lets in just the right amount of air and keep it ventilated. Down here is an inverter. You don't really need to worry about that unless you need to replace a fuse, and there are extra fuses in the storage compartment in the toolkit. Over here is a standard outlet. This will only work if you are plugged into shore power or you are plugged into a generator. This is a propane and carbon monoxide sensor. And then over here, we have a charging center you can plug your phones in. This will work if you are just running off of battery. So you got like a standard DC plug right there, cigarette lighter. And then there's a GFCI plug over here, as well as one over there next to the sink. The GFCI plugs, as well as the standard plugs, will only work if you are connected to shore power. Smoke detector. This is a panel that shows like the charge status of the battery, and there is a 100-watt solar panel on the roof. And basically all that's really good for is to just kind of trickle charge the battery. Okay, right around the corner from the fridge is the thermostat. And to operate the thermostat, you just press the mode button repeatedly to select between the fan only mode, air conditioning, cooling mode, and the furnace. To operate the furnace, make sure that the gas is turned on and then set your temperature. When the furnace is on, it's going to vent through 2 different vents near the floor. So just make sure those 2 vents are clear when the furnace is on. Fan only mode will vent air through the air conditioning unit. When it's in fan mode, you can select the speed of the fan. And then to operate the AC unit in cooling mode, simply press it until you see the cool, and then you set your temperature. To operate the AC unit in cooling mode, you must be plugged into a 30 amp source or a 30 amp capable generator. Make sure you don't run the air conditioner off of a 15 amp household circuit, or you can damage the unit. On either side of the trailer, there are reading lights that can be turned on and off by simply pressing the light. To convert the dinette area into a bed, first loosen the hand lock holding the table onto the mounting arm. Then remove the table and place it on the lip just underneath the cushions to form part of the base of the bed. Then remove the Lagun table mounting arm by loosening the fastener and set it on the floor. Pull out the slide out to form the rest of the base of the bed. Then slide the cushions towards the center of the bed. The bed is slightly wider and slightly shorter than a standard queen-size bed. Well, that covers pretty much everything you'll need to know to have a fun, safe adventure in the Little Guy Minimax. Remember, if you have any questions or if you need help, please text or call us. Be safe and have fun out there.